In this video, we're breaking down exactly how to budget on a low income without feeling broke. You'll learn how to calculate your true monthly income, separate real needs from wants, build an emergency fund from nothing, cut hidden spending leaks, and create one simple system that keeps you saving every single month. By the end, you'll have a complete, realistic plan you can start using today. Right now, millions of people are living paycheck to paycheck, too wide. Not because they're bad with money, but because nobody ever showed them a system that actually works on a small income. You don't need a six-figure salary, a side hustle, or a finance degree. You need a plan that actually fits your real life, your real bills, and your real paycheck. Maybe you've tried budgeting apps, spreadsheets, or those extreme saving hacks that tell you to skip coffee and cancel every subscription, and none of it stuck. Here's the truth. Budgeting isn't about deprivation. It's about direction. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step blueprint I use with clients earning modest paychecks FAO. How to calculate your true income, protect your needs first, and still build real savings month after month without ever feeling broke. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete, realistic system, one you can start using today, whatever your income looks like right now. No shame, no judgment how. Let's start with the single most important number in your entire budget, your real monthly income. Most people get this wrong from day one. They budget off their gross salary, the number before taxes, insurance, and deductions puff, and then wonder why their money runs out by the third week. Here's turning point number one. Your real income isn't what your employer promises you. It's what actually lands in your bank account, every single time. If you're paid weekly or bi-weekly, don't just multiply one paycheck by 4. Some months have 5 pay periods, not 4. And that extra check throws off lazy math completely. Instead, add up your actual deposits from the last 3 months and divide by 3. That number, not your salary letter, is your true baseline. If your income changes month to month POV, maybe you work shifts, freelance, or get tips, use your lowest realistic month as your foundation, not your best one. Building a budget around your best month is how people end up short every single time their income dips back to normal. This one shift, budgeting off your true, verified income instead of an optimistic guess, is the foundation everything else in this video is built on. Once you know this number with certainty, every decision that follows becomes dramatically easier because you're no longer guessing, you're planning with facts. Now that you know your real income, it's time to split it the right way. Strive, starting with your needs, not your wants. Needs are simple in theory. Housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, minimum debt payments, insurance. But here's where most people trip up. They forget the invisible needs, the expenses that don't show up every month, so they never get budgeted for at all. Car repairs, annual insurance renewals, school fees, medical copays. They hit once or twice a year and they wreck the budget when they land. Here's turning point number 2. Take every irregular essential cost from the last 12 months, add them up, and divide by 12. That gives you a monthly average prop, a small amount you set aside every month so those costs never surprise you again. For example, if your car needs about $600 in repairs a year, that's just $50 a month set aside quietly. Once your true needs, regular and irregular cuter, are covered first, you're not guessing anymore. You know exactly what survival costs. And that number is sacred. It gets funded first before a single dollar goes anywhere else. Savings, wants, or extras. Once your needs are locked in and protected, we can talk about the part everyone actually wants to know. How to find money to save, even when your paycheck feels tight. That's next. Now for the part everyone wants to know. How do you find money to save when your paycheck already feels tight? Most advice says cut your coffee, skip takeout, cancel everything fun. That's not a plan, that's just deprivation, and it never lasts. Instead, do what I call a spending leak audit. Pull up your last 30 days of bank and card transactions. You're not looking for big purchases. You're looking for small, repeated charges you've stopped noticing. Subscriptions, delivery fees, forgotten memberships. Here's turning point number 3. The average person finds between $50 and $200 a month in leaks they didn't even know existed. That's money already in your budget, just misallocated. You don't need a raise to find it. You need 15 focused minutes. This is different from cutting things you love. It's removing things you forgot you were even paying for in the first place. Once you've found your leaks, redirect that exact amount, not a guess, the exact number plate, straight into savings before you can spend it. This is where the psychology matters more than the math. Money you never see in your checking account is money you never miss. Which brings us to the next piece of this puzzle, building an emergency fund from absolutely nothing, even if you're starting at $0 today. Let's get into exactly how. Let's talk about building an emergency fund, even if you're starting today with exactly $0 saved. Most financial advice says save 3 to 6 months of expenses. On a low income, that number feels impossible, and honestly, it is tell at first. So forget that number for now. Here's turning point number 4. Your first real goal isn't 6 months of expenses, it's just $500. $500 covers most small emergencies: a car repair, a medical bill, a lost shift, without reaching for a credit card. That single number is what breaks the paycheck to paycheck cycle for most people, because it removes the need to borrow when life happens. Open a separate savings account just for this TOW, not your checking account, somewhere slightly harder to reach on impulse. Automate a small transfer the day you get paid, even $20 PEL, before you see the money in your main account. $20 a week becomes $500 in about 6 months without a single dramatic sacrifice or lifestyle change. Once you hit 500, don't stop how, but shift the goal upward gradually toward 1 month, then 3 months of expenses. With your safety net finally started, we can move to the next challenge, Bo, the one that quietly destroys more budgets than anything else: lifestyle inflation. Let's talk about that. Lifestyle inflation is the quiet budget killer nobody warns you about. And it doesn't just happen to high earners. Here's how it works. You get a raise or a bit of extra income, and almost instantly your spending quietly rises to match it. A better apartment, a nicer car payment, more takeout. None of it feels reckless in the moment, it just happens gradually. Here's turning point number 5. Studies on spending behavior show most people save close to 0% of a raise within a year of receiving it. The income went up, the bank balance stayed exactly the same. That's not bad luck. That's lifestyle inflation working exactly as expected. Here's the fix, and it's simple. The moment your income increases, decide in advance where that extra money goes. Before you feel it in your checking account, split it how? Half towards savings or debt, half towards something you actually enjoy. That 50-50 rule protects your progress without making every raise feel like punishment. You still get to enjoy life. The goal was never to eliminate every enjoyable purchase, though. It's to make sure your savings rate rises right alongside your income. With lifestyle inflation under control, it's time to tie all of this together into one simple system you can actually stick with month after month. That's coming up next. Now let's tie everything together into one simple system kernel, because complicated budgets are the #1 reason people quit. You only need 3 buckets: needs, savings, and flexible spending. The moment your paycheck lands, needs and savings get funded first, automatically, exactly like we covered earlier in this video. Whatever's left over becomes your flexible spending bucket, NAB, one number, one balance, no complicated category tracking required. Here's turning point number 6. You only need to check one number all week. POW, your flexible spending balance. As long as that number stays positive, you're on track. No guilt, no shame, no tracking every single coffee purchase. This works because it removes decision fatigue. You're not calculating percentages daily a POV. You're just watching one simple balance. Check it once a week, ideally the same day every week, so it becomes a habit rather than a chore. That weekly check-in is the entire system. Fund needs and savings first, then live freely within what's left. Simple systems are the ones people actually stick with long-term. Next, let's talk about the money habits that make all of this stick. Let's talk about the money habits that actually make this system stick. Because information alone rarely changes behavior. Budgeting is not about limiting yourself, it's about making your money work smarter. Track expenses, prioritize needs, cut waste, and build a savings cushion. Consistency creates freedom. If saving money requires a manual decision every single week, you will eventually forget, get tired, or talk yourself out of it. Here's turning point number 7. The goal isn't more discipline, it's removing the decision entirely through automation. Automatic transfers, automatic bill payments, automatic savings, every one of these removes a moment where you could talk yourself out of it. Pair that with visual progress, a simple savings tracker or a jar you can see, because progress you can see keeps you motivated. Also, give yourself permission to have a small, guilt-free spending amount every single week. Deprivation is the #1 reason people quit budgeting. A sustainable budget always has room for joy. If yours doesn't, you won't follow it for more than a few weeks. Progress here isn't perfection, it's consistency. Missing 1 week doesn't erase your progress, it just means you start again next week. With the habits in place, let's bring this entire blueprint together with a realistic example prowl, so you can see exactly how it looks with an actual paycheck. Let's walk through it. Let's make this real. Say your take-home pay is $2,400 a month. A common number for many viewers watching this. First, your needs: rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, minimum debt payments. Let's say that totals $1,600. Next, your irregular needs average, car repairs, annual fees too, comes to $50 a month, set aside quietly like we discussed. That's $1,650 protected for true needs, leaving $750 remaining from your paycheck. From your spending leak audit, you found $80 a month in forgotten subscriptions and fees. That $80 goes straight into savings. That leaves $670. From here, you automate $100 toward your $500 emergency fund goal. That's $180 total moving into savings every single month, without a single dramatic lifestyle sacrifice. The remaining $570 becomes your flexible spending bucket, the brown, the one number you check weekly, guilt-free. In just under 3 months, that emergency fund reaches $500, and the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle is officially broken. That's the entire blueprint applied to one real paycheck. No 6-figure salary required, just a system followed consistently.
Let's turn everything you've learned into a simple 30-day action plan, so you know exactly where to start today.
Week 1. Calculate your true income using the 3-month average method and list every expense from the past month. Week 2. Run your spending leak audit. Find those forgotten subscriptions and redirect that exact amount into a separate savings account. Here's turning point number 9. You don't need all 4 weeks done before you start seeing results. Each week compounds on the last. Week 3. Set up your 3 buckets: needs, savings, flexible spending toe, and automate transfers for the day you get paid. Week 4. Commit to your first weekly check-in. Just glance at your flexible spending balance, nothing more complicated than that. By day 30, you'll have a working system, a growing emergency fund, and a clear picture of where your money actually goes. That's more financial clarity than most people ever get, and you'll have built it in just 1 month, one small step at a time. Remember, this isn't about being perfect from day 1. It's about having a system that keeps working, even on the weeks you slip up. You now have everything you need to take control of your money, no matter what your paycheck looks like. Let's wrap up with the one mindset shift that ties it all together. Here's the one mindset shift that makes everything we've covered permanent instead of temporary. Most people think of budgeting as something they're trying, like a diet. Temporary, restrictive, waiting to be abandoned. But the people who stay financially stable long-term don't think of it that way at all. They've made a quiet identity shift. Here's turning point number 10, the final one. Stop telling yourself you're trying to save money. Start telling yourself you're someone who manages money well. That small language shift matters more than it sounds. Identity drives behavior far more reliably than motivation ever does. When you see yourself as someone who manages money well, checking your flexible balance stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like who you are. You calculated your real income, you protected your needs, you found hidden leaks, started an emergency fund, and built one simple system. None of that requires a 6-figure income. It requires exactly what you now have: a clear, repeatable plan. Start this week. Pick one step, calculating your real income or running your first spending leak audit, and just begin. You don't need a bigger paycheck to feel in control of your money, Freddie. You need this plan, and you now have it. This is your safe money moment. Take it. Let's do a quick recap, because repetition is how this actually sticks in your daily life going forward. Calculate your real income using the 3-month average. Protect your true needs, regular and irregular, before anything else. Run your spending leak audit to find hidden money. Start your emergency fund at $500, not 6 months. Guard against lifestyle inflation with the 50-50 rule, and simplify everything into just 3 buckets you check weekly. If this video helped you see your money differently, subscribe for more honest, practical finance guidance every single week. You now have a complete, realistic budgeting blueprint. This is your safe money moment. Go build the future you deserve.